Hi, my name is Kimberly Green, and I chose the ethical dilemma of abortion. I chose this dilemma because I am a product of it. I have had two abortions, one at an early age. I was 17. I had just had one child. 3 or 4 months later, I was pregnant again. So I went and had an abortion. The next time I was 30, and the person that I was with, it just didn't seem right because, me and that person weren't really on that level to have a child, and it wasn't a good time for me, and so I had another one. Um, Abortion, is a very, very, controversial subject, and no social issue in America since slavery has ever been so divisive as that of abortion. No issue brings out so much passion and hatred of the other side. Court's decisions related to abortion regularly bring protesters from both sides. Polls show Americans are split almost evenly on the issue. Every presidential election brings out the pro-life side on the right and the pro-choice side on the left. Abortion often makes it into debate on other issues. For example, funding of Planned Parenthood has been discussed and reigning in the out-of-control federal budget. Another example is Obamacare, where final passages held up by few senators who didn't like the abortion language of the bill. Which side is right? Are there any shades of gray in this dispute? The pros of abortions are, um, you should be able to have an abortion because if not, government gets to control a woman's body. By making abortion legal, you're introducing a slippery slope that gives government control over a woman's body. Another pro is back alley abortions would increase if we were made illegal. If it were made illegal, leading to increased risk of young women dying or becoming sterile. If we don't let women legally have abortions, they will go other places and have back alley abortions, which could, make them get poisoned or make them get sick by somebody using the wrong type of tools or not a licensed doctor doing it, and they may end up dying. So you would want to have it legal because I think that it's a woman's choice, whether she wants to have a child or not. As long as she's not abusing it and keep having abortions back to back and not using protection, I think that a woman should be able to have an abortion if she so chooses to. Another pro is it is arguably better for society to have babies aborted than have them be brought up poor and neglected, where not only will they suffer, but society, when that child develops a higher attraction to crime and welfare. This is probably a controversial point, but it has to without legalized abortion. A lot more women will become parents whether or not they want to, and be whether or not they're ready to be. Another pro is one brief mistake can take away a woman's childhood and trap her for life. You may be young and get pregnant. I know a lot of kids get young, get pregnant. You don't want your child trying to raise a child at 12 because they're only still a child. You have kids getting molested. You have people getting raped, all different types of situations where you would want to be able to have abortion in place because you wouldn't want to ruin a child's life at an early age. Another pro is giving up a child for adoption can be just as emotionally damaging as having an abortion. When you give up a child for adoption, either way, you're giving the child up. You don't have the child anymore, and you're giving them to another set of parents, and, it can still hurt them because if they find out the truth about those are not their real parents, the child is going to be, kind of traumatized for life, wondering why did my parents give me up? And instead of going through that, taking a child through that situation, abortion would be another way that you can just stop all of that from going on. Another pro is carrying and delivering a baby can be painful and dangerous to the mother, and a number of complications can develop. And this can also happen because with my last child, I had toxemia, where the placenta comes away from the body, and the child could die, and the parent can also die. And I was in danger of that. Once I had my baby at 8 weeks, he wore 4 pounds, and he was fine. But what it did for me is it raised my blood pressure, and I ended up staying in the hospital the whole week, and my pressure never went down. And the baby was fine once he came, and it had me in danger because my pressure was so high. I could have had a heart attack or stroke or anything. So that's another reason that, some, abortion should be in place in case people, need that. And the last pro is abortion is not murder because it is performed before a fetus has developed into a human person. Okay, and I guess that's maybe in like the first trimester or whatever that, it's not really a baby because it's not formed as a child. I don't condone a person having an abortion when they are 5 and 6 and 7 months, because those are babies. The baby has formed. That is a person. I just wouldn't want to do it that far long. If I did it, I would want to do it, in my first trimesters. Okay, the cons of abortion. Abortion is a form of murder and demeans the value of human life. Another con is other birth control is readily available, thus abortion shouldn't be a form of birth control. Another con is the societal contributions of a potentially valuable human being are wiped out. Another con is women who have abortions often suffer major psychological damage from the experience, along with, in some cases, further things going on, with them. And another con is the advance of genetic testing may prompt more abortions to avoid having the non-ideal child. Another con is there are many couples who spend years on waiting lists trying to adopt a child, and I kind of agree with that. If people have a lot of abortions, I have a friend myself I went to school with, and she wants a child real bad, and she can't have one. Then you have people that are fertile and can have kids, and they have multiple abortions when that's not fair. When there are people that can't even have children that would want kids, and another con is the abortion decisions often made by minors or young adults who don't have the maturity and life experiences to make good decisions. And, maybe that is true, but if they're young, and they probably don't need a child anyway because they can't support a child. Another con is people have the right not to see their tax dollars go to something they find immoral. It's always something about people's tax dollars. They don't want you to get anything when it comes to their tax dollars. No help from the government. It's always about tax dollars. And another con is abortion eliminates legal rights of the unborn child. And another con is abortion exposes women to various health risks and the danger of losing fertility, which that is true. I had a photo of an aborted child, but you can't hardly see it that well. And that's a picture of a child that looks like it was maybe 7 or 8 months, and that's something that I would not do. I would not abort a child. That's a child. That's a real baby. I just wouldn't do that. They really did kill a child there. And I would use the utilitarianism theory, because it states that actions are judged right or wrong simply by looking at the consequences of the action. If the action causes more happiness than unhappiness, it is considered right. The only thing that matters is the amount of happiness or unhappiness that is created. Each person's happiness counts the same. And I feel that it is a person's right, if it's concerning them and they're not hurting anyone else, whatever it is they want to do. If it's to themselves or their body and they're not harming anyone else, I feel that they have the right to do that. And that was my presentation. And I want to thank you, Ms. Reardon, for being so patient with me this quarter. And thank you.